Good evening, and welcome to this week's edition of Visibility Made Easy. Now, I am going to flip my camera around just so that you can see what's behind me tonight. So, if you are new to watching this, then it's better. If you're new to watching this, let me make sure. Can you read it? Yes, you can. If you've got very good eyesight, that is, because it's a little bit small. But anyway, if you're new to me and you're watching in the background, that's perfectly okay. My name's Jenny Kovacs. I'm known as the Queen of Being Seen, because you being seen, being heard and being completely visible is why I get out of bed in the mornings. Now, I picked or selected this particular episode of Visibility Made Easy, which is a collection of tools, tips and techniques to help you to get out there and be visible. But I know that you're busy. I know that you've got enough things to do in the world. And I know that the quicker you can do it, the easier you can make it and incorporate it in your life, then the better it will be. So tonight's subject is one that I actually do a lot of work on and with, but don't necessarily stream it to Facebook. I tend to do this with private clients and corporate clients. And this came from my background in financial services, where I was a learning and development manager and very much responsible for the training needs of sales teams, for the training needs of administration teams and people within a business that was based in 5 different locations over the UK, and also had a parent company that was overseas. And then before that, I was a national training manager where I literally covered England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales. So if you want to say hello, do type in the box below, say a quick hello, let me know that you're here. And also, while I'm with you for the next 15 to 20 minutes, do let me know if you've got any questions that are very specific to you and what you're doing. And just because I'm standing quite far away from the camera, my eyes are failing me, if you could start with your question. And here's a little something that I want to help, which is a part of this 8 cycle behind me. If you've got a question for me, can you ask me your question first so I can get to it? If you just got a statement or something to say, I'm really open and cool with that. So, hey, Ivona says, hello Jenny, or evening Jenny, and evening all. Keith says hello, so saying hi to you both. I can see there are more of you watching, but like I say, it's fine if you don't want to talk and you want to be quiet. This is all about visibility, you being seen and being heard, and I do share this across a couple of other platforms too. So let me explain what's going on behind me tonight and why I'm in a slightly different location. So I've actually got my flowers here, but because of my weird lighting, although you can see my face quite well, you can't see that I've got my lovely roses behind me. And I've also got a pointer, which some of you may recognise. I need something to be able to point things out so that you can see them quite easily. So where has this come from? So many of the people that I work with, sometimes my peers and other people around me talk about being visible in a more corporate space, i.e. they would like to either approach companies, get into companies, or do more work with people in companies. And for many of you who've been asking me this, the sorts of companies you want to get in there with are big, household name brands. Some of them don't seemingly relate to your businesses, but that's okay. But maybe there's something that you want to share from your business with those bigger businesses. For many of you, it's around speaking and getting in there. And in my time of being self-employed and just doing this as me, as a one-man band business, I've had the great fortune to work with companies like British Telecom, Boots, lots of transportation companies, some of which, of course, companies I work with, we sign a non-disclosure agreement. So I don't go and flap my gums and talk about the work we do. But what I do want to tell you about is, this is part of a bigger piece of work. So, with the greatest of respects, I can't cover it in 15 minutes. But what I do want to do is share with you just some nuggets and insights that I have gleaned along the way in the last 7.5 years. But also, I've actually been collecting since the early days when I worked for big companies like Thomas Cook, Santander, which was at the time Abbey National, and also being the person that was responsible for not only positioning the training from external businesses and companies, within the company. I was the person that would buy it. And sometimes the approaches, you know, for some really great companies and people, the approaches were so like, oh, cringeworthy, that, you know, even if I could see past that and, you know, got to read through their 21 pages of proposal that they submitted, and then I would have to go and present it to the board and try and persuade the board to buy this service or to buy this product, sometimes these people just didn't do themselves any favours. So tonight I wanted to share just a couple of things from my kind of 8 circle behind me. And this is something, as I say, I don't normally teach publicly or as publicly as this, but given that already this year I am going to be working with a couple of different professional organisations, a couple of different corporate organisations, and have still got clients who work within that, that industry, executives, you know, CEOs, managing directors, you know, operations officers, financial chief financial officers, so CFOs, people on the C-suite. I wanted to give you a little bit of a glimpse and insight, because what I really want to do is to broaden your horizon, to let you, give you some insight into why visibility is so important. I know for me there are some different things that I'm doing this year and some different people that I want to be visible to and in front of. So I am, going out and doing that. So I'm only going to share with you what's working for me so far in my insights. So, because it's likely that unless you're on a massive screen or you've got much better eyes than me, you can't see these. They turned out actually to be the 8 Ps, which is quite interesting. So these are my corporate 8 Ps. So all that's behind me at the moment is corporate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. And these all represent different approaches when it comes to communicating with companies. So the first thing that I do want to say is, whether you're after organisational visibility, hey Alan, whether you're after organisational visibility, that is, you work within a specific organisation and maybe you want to get promoted, maybe you want to rise so that you're within the C-suite, maybe you're a senior manager already, but you just need that little click of the Rubik's Cube, you want to get in there. So for those of you with friends who are working, who maybe don't have their own business, tonight specifically, I'd ask you to share this on your timeline, because there are people that go to work every day and maybe they're looking for career progression like I did, and they don't know the best way forward because they're within the organisation. So this will also help them to communicate within their organisation so that they can get the sort of career progression that I was very lucky enough to enjoy, where I over tripled my salary and was able to rise through the ranks, where I literally stopped just before board level. It wasn't something that was within my sights. So out of these 8 tonight, I have selected 3 that I want to give you some little tips and some hints on, really, for if you're looking at either entering the corporate arena or you're within the corporate arena and looking to raise your organisational visibility. So I'm going to stick these on here just so it makes sense. And if we run out of time, I think that should actually be 3, but never mind. If we run out of time, then I can always do a part 2. So if you are watching this and this is a subject that's of interest to you, whether you're watching this live on the replay and you do want to hear more after tonight, then by all means, just type underneath CORP, C-O-R-P, and then I'll know, and I'll maybe dedicate next week's or another edition of this for you. Also, if there are people that you know normally watch this and they're missing tonight, while we've got the next couple of minutes to keep going, and I'll just double check that everything is broadcasting, which it is, just invite them, share this with them now, let them know. They're missing out, they're missing everything. Okay, so if you can all hear me loud and clear, how many of you who are watching this either live or on the replay would really like to do more corporate work? So sell your products or services, or book ideas, or concept or keynotes, or whatever you like to do best, or maybe an online program. How many of you would like to do this, but instead of having members of the public or other businesses, would like to aim this at corporates and the corporate market? If you could give me a thumbs up or a love heart, so either thumbs up or a love heart, then I can see, and it would help me with the information that I share moving forward. Okay, so, and I know there's a delay between that. So if that's you, fine. If it isn't, and you're like, you know what, I just want to continue with members of the public, I just want to continue with small businesses or anything else like that, let me know by giving me a wow face across the screen. Because something that I'm going to let you know that a lot of people don't realise when you do straddle those two markets is that actually this communication stuff is really effective for communicating and connecting with your ideal audience, whether they are a corporate audience or whether they are an entrepreneurial audience. So let me know, what's it to be? Is it the thumbs up? Is it the love heart? Or is it the wow face? Which is it to be? Okay, so the first piece, corporate one, this is around picturing it, and people might call this visualization, people might call it kind of goal setting an intention or anything else like that. But one of the things to think about, if you are wanting to get your products, your services in front of a corporate market, there are a lot of great reasons to do it. Let me tell you a really great reason as to why you might want to do that. If you've got particularly a product or a service, as some of you do on here, and you've all gone very, very quiet, so, you know, I'll make a generic example, but if you've got a product or service that you really want to get out there to a corporate market, one of the things that I would urge you to do first of all is to think about the kind of corporates that you would like to approach. Imagine this: you've got an online course, a corporation or organisation or even an association is made of people, it's made up of people. There might be like 50,000 people between the different sites just here in the UK. There might be more than that, you know, thousands of people internationally based within the different offices, depending on the sort of company you're going for. Now, even just saying that, there might be a couple of you saying, you know what, that's not something that I want to do. I don't want to you know, work with companies that are outside of the UK, or I don't want to work with companies inside of the UK. So the first thing to do is to picture it, and that's your first P. Picture it, but picture it to the level of detail so that you are really, really clear on the people that you're working with, the organisations you're working with, who at the organisation you make contact with. In order to be seen, in order to be heard, and in order to be visible, the best way I know is to be ultra clear on who those people are. And this is one of the biggest kind of mistakes, if you like, that I hear people, you know, talking about. Oh, I want to, you know, I want to go in and I want to be able to sell this thing to organisations, and they go, oh, I need to speak to the director or the HR director. But it might be that you need to speak to the sales director. It could be that you need to speak to a team leader who manages the team of people and have a conversation where they then go to the relevant place. And quite often, you know, as an ex-learning and development professional, it was actually me that people needed to speak to. They'd spend so much time and energy, like being very bullish and trying to get into to speak to, you know, the sales director or the MD or the CEO, or even like the HR director. And I wasn't even being a gatekeeper. I was the person they needed to speak to, and how they spoke to me and positioned it to me was very different to how they were hoping to speak to and position it to somebody else. But all of that can only be made clear when you can picture who you want to speak to, like who you want to be seen, you know, in front of, who you want to be heard by, and who you want to be visible to. Now, for those of you that are within a corporate space already, maybe working with a big company, and like me, in 2003, I think it was, said, you know what, I want career progression. I want to be able to, you know, rise through the ranks, go up the corporate ladder. Well, in order for me to do that, one thing that I realised some years later, many years later, was that I actually not only said this is what I want to do, but then I worked out, well, if I am going to do this, who do I need to be more visible to within the business? Who do I need to be seen by? Who do I need to be heard by? Who do I need to be visible to? And that's what started an unbeknown plan. But that plan paid off. that plan meant that I was able to then raise and increase my own visibility, raise my own profile, and have what's known as gravitas, you know, to be taken seriously, to be taken with credibility. So starting with that picture where you need to be. Now I'm just going to do a time check because I reckon I can likely save some of the others for another live if this is of something that's, you know, if this is something that's of interest to you. So as I say, whether you're watching this live or on the replay, let me know in the box below. But if you'd rather be a bit more private, a bit more personal, then on this page, if you're watching this on Facebook, it's the Queen of Being Seen, Jenny Kovacs, or facebook.com/visibilityvibe. Okay, and please feel free to share it with colleagues or friends or peers or anyone that you feel might need to hear this. Just go to that page. At the top of the box there's a message button. Hit the message button, send me a message, and any time between Monday, Friday, between 9 and 6, I'll answer you. And sometimes a little bit afterwards as well, depending on my routine, my schedule and what I'm doing. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, by all means, either go over to Facebook, but if you don't want to be exposed as Facebook, then do subscribe to my YouTube channel, which you'll be watching this on. And for those of you that are thinking, I'm on Facebook, but I don't subscribe to Jenny on YouTube, just go to Google, search Jenny Kovacs, that's K for Kilo, O, V for Victor, A, C for Charlie, S, no K at the end, K-O-V-A-C-S. And if you search for Jenny Kovacs on YouTube, you'll find my channel, subscribe, and every time I upload a new video, which is at least twice a week, you'll be able to get that information through too. Okay, so I'll leave you then with one more tip. So the next tip I wanted to share is the second tip, which is all about pitching in, which has nicely fallen on my feet. Now, what do I mean about pitching in? Now, on this occasion, although you might know that I'm the Queen of Being Seen and that I love to help you to get visible and to be able to sell your products, your services, your ideas, your book, your concept, or anything else like that, on this occasion, this pitching isn't about selling. So again, something that I see so many people do is they think, right, I've got to write this list of people, I'm going to go in, I'm going to pitch to them, and I'm going to let them know how great my service is and everything else like that. When actually, where you really need to pitch in is the voice inside your head. I cannot tell you how many times I've been speaking, and it could be at a business networking event. I could be speaking for a client. You know, Thomson Reuters were a brilliant company that I did a breakfast meeting with, and then some other companies based in Bristol, like financial services companies and things like that. And one of the things that people had the most issue with was actually the voice in their head. And just before you start to dismiss this, most of us, or in fact all of us, have the internal voice. The voice that tells you at the end of the night when you're at the bar and you're about to order one more drink that, you know what, don't order that drink, it's time to go home. The internal voice that normally starts with a feeling that where you look somebody in the eye and you think, you know what, I don't know what it is, I'm not quite sure. And something tells you inside there, you know what, be polite, or, you know, let them know that it's a no, or whatever that thing is. So on this occasion, the pitching in is all around your internal voice. Now, there's a huge piece of work behind this that I work with people quite closely, because what I look for is I want to identify what the voice inside their head is trying to protect them from. What is it trying to stop them from doing? And whether it's true or not. Does this come from fear? Does this come from feedback? Does this come from something else? Okay, like it could be a past experience with negative connotations that the person thinks about. So in this occasion, if you are within that corporate space, and again you're looking to raise your profile and raise throughout the ranks, then one of the things you might want to do is really pay attention to those negative voices, to the voice inside your head. And it's hard to pitch into the voice if you haven't heard it yet. So if I was a doctor, I'd be prescribing you right now with the pill of noticing. The pill of noticing what's going on inside your head. Because once you notice what's going on inside your head, then you can pitch in, then you hear it the next time. You hear it when it's loud, you hear where it comes in, you know, what time of day it comes in, the kind of scenarios you're in, and things like that. And once you can take note of the voice inside your head, then you've got something to play with and something to do. So I really hope that this has been of value to you. Thank you so much for watching me. Big shout out to those of you that came on live and said hello. Massive shout out to Keith, to Alan and to Ivona. Lots of love to you, and let me know if you want to hear more about what's behind some of these other corporate P's too. And if corporate's not your thing, you know, you don't work within one, you don't work for one, or you're not really looking to spread your wings with one, then by all means, who else is it that you know who could share share this information? Who could you share it with that might help to get them a rung up on the ladder? Thank you so much for watching me. Next time you'll see me live on this page will be on Monday, and every Monday at 7 AM, where I give you a little bit of Monday motivation. So remember to click for notifications on the Facebook page, and anytime I go live, it will notify you. And if you're able to come on in. Let's interact, let's talk, let's connect. So for now, all I request of you is to start to put these sorts of things in action, but mostly be seen, be heard, get visible. Bye for now.